Okay, hi everyone. I guess we're just going to be waiting a couple minutes for everyone to join this webinar, Build Your Future While Building Mineral Literacy. So as we wait for everyone to join, we just have a small interactive activity that I'm going to share with you. I'm just going to put the link in the chat so that we can get that started. So this is what the question is. What do you think of when you hear the term minerals industry? So let me just get the link quickly.
Also add before we start the presentation for anyone in the audience, if you guys have any questions throughout the presentation, please head on over to Feedloop for this specific session in your agenda and the Q&A tab in the chat. That's where you're going to put all your questions, and then I will forward them to be answered if you ask them there. So just a quick heads up for everybody, and then we can get on with the presentation.
Okay, so as you submit your responses, we should be able to see them here on the screen. You can see what people come up with. What do you think of when you hear the term minerals industry? And thoughts? Some of you might not have seen the link in the chat, so I'm just gonna copy and paste it again. So that's what it should look like. You can just submit your answers there and it'll show up on this page, on the screen. Okay, we're gonna wait maybe 30 more seconds for some more folks to join us, and then we'll move on and get started.
Sarah, I don't know if those are coming through on your screen, but they are coming through on mine.
Oh, they are? Do you want to share yours?
Yeah, absolutely.
Let me stop for a second.
You see that okay?
Yeah. These are some great words: raw materials, exploration, diamonds, salt, mining, potash, gold, emeralds, coal mines, rock properties, and sustainability. These are all great. Thanks for sharing, everyone. All right. That's a really good start. So welcome to the webinar, Build Your Future While Building Mineral Literacy by Mining Matters. My name is Sarah and Casey is my co-presenter today. So we're really excited to be here and to talk to you about our organization, what we do, and some of the opportunities that we might have for you. So we start off with a Mentimeter just to kind of get our feet wet and thinking about the minerals industry and kind of what comes to mind when we hear the word. We're gonna also go over a few trivia questions, and let me just share my screen one more time, just to continue to introduce us to this topic. So what do each of these objects have in common? Feel free to shout out some answers. I don't know if the chat is enabled again, but if it is, you can feel free to, if it's not, you can raise your hand and let us know. or Emily, do you have any, Malaya?
Are they all made from minerals or something?
Yeah, exactly. Good job. That's exactly the answer. All of these objects are made of minerals. A cell phone, a light bulb, toothpaste. You might not think that those objects really have anything in common, but that's absolutely right. They are all made of minerals, things we find in the ground. Next question. What is the #1 produced mineral in Canada? Any thoughts? I can't see all the participants on my screen at once. So if Casey or Emily, if you're able to let me know.
Yeah,
if
I'm
anybody
keeping an
has
eye
any
there,
guesses.
Sarah.
Any guesses? Okay, well, Timothy?
Is it coal?
Not coal. Good guess though. It's actually gold, believe it or not. And this is a gold mine here in Quebec called Malartic Mine. How many different minerals and metals are used to make a cell phone? So this is a multiple choice question. Is it 5 to 10, 20 to 30, or do you think it's 40 plus? Well, if you guessed 40 plus, you are correct. So I have a brief graphic here to show you all the minerals or some of the minerals and metals that go into making a smartphone. So if you have a smartphone at home, which you use pretty often, there are tons of minerals and metals that actually go into manufacturing it. So aluminum, lithium, and cobalt, for example, are used to make a battery. And a fun fact for you, a while ago, Apple had uncovered like $1 billion worth of gold in recycled iPhones. And so that just goes to show you as well how critical some of these minerals really are. How many jobs in the mining industry do you think will need to be filled over the next decade? Do you think it's 20,000 to 40,000 jobs, which is already a lot? 60,000 to 80,000, or 90,000 to 100,000? So if you guessed 60,000 to 80,000, you are correct. It's quite a lot of jobs, although it could be growing as the industry grows. That's as of last year, this would have been the correct answer. So it's a growing field, and if you're interested in this particular area of study or as a career path, there will be lots of job opportunities for you. All right, so having said that, we are going to go over today's topics. In this webinar, over the next 20 minutes or so, we're going to be discussing the connection between STEM and the minerals industry. So this is a STEM fair, and you may know all of the STEM disciplines: science, technology, engineering, and math. But what you may not know is how these subjects are related and apply to the world of mineral exploration. Number 2, STEM-related careers in the minerals industry. So we'll go over some job opportunities that are available there. We're going to talk about STEM co-op programs in Canada as well. So how some of these programs can lead you to a future in minerals, and 4, Mining Matters co-op opportunities. All right, so before we get started, let's define what exactly is the minerals industry. What does that term even mean? So in short, the minerals industry is defined as activities that involve extracting and processing metals, minerals, and other resources that come from the ground and which are needed for the economy. These activities include things like exploration, so searching for land and a suitable place to find, to put a mine. Mining, so the actual act of extracting the minerals from the ground and related support activities, as well as furthering processing and manufacturing of metal products. So what that last part means is not all metals that we see today, for example, stainless steel, we don't actually just extract stainless steel from the ground as stainless steel. That particular metal is composed of other metals such as chromium, nickel, and other metals too. So it's actually called an alloy. And so that's what we mean when we say manufacturing of metal products. We sometimes need to combine different metals and materials that we find in the ground and put them together to make something stronger or maybe something more malleable, depending on what we want to use that resource for in products that we use today, whether it's cutlery or wires or other metal products. So during last year's STEM Expo, if you participated, we actually saw a lot of really amazing projects. They included things that focused on biotech. There was something on new gear. I think it was a better breathing apparatus, 3D printing solutions. And did you know that all of these things can actually be applied in the minerals industry as well? So Casey is actually going to talk a little bit about how the different branches of STEM can lead you to a career in the minerals industry. So
Thanks, Sarah. I'll just have you click through for me. So you can see Sarah's putting up the categories of STEM there. So in science, we've got our obvious, our geology, earth science, environmental science. I would even argue that geology includes all aspects of science. So really you've got your biology, your physics, even math involved in there as well, which is of course another one of these categories. Robotics and programming are very important. We'll actually discuss that a little bit more on my next page. Engineering, of course, we've got a lot of cross-curricular disciplines within engineering that are very important to the minerals industry. And math, which would include things such as accounting and economics. So a few unexpected connections for you. I don't know about you all, but for myself, when I think of the minerals industry, I'm thinking mining, digging. I mean, we had that activity at the beginning. A couple unexpected connections, first being genomics. So we actually use this to help understand biological processes that take place in mining and impacted environments. This can create positive economic and environmental benefits, reduce risks and uncertainty within mining. Drone technology is also very important. We use this when we have areas that we might not be able to access on foot. Rather than creating a road, we can use drones to get high resolution images to decide if it's even worthwhile to access this area. Automation, of course, automated technologies and equipment can lead to a more efficient site. 3D printing, which will allow us to kind of create parts and materials on demand as we need them at site. And then smart PPE or wearables, which is actually one of the cooler things that that we're seeing today. So we actually have things such as helmets or suits that miners or personnel can wear, which can monitor their health. It can also monitor external signs such as air quality and alert them of hazards or their team that might be on the ground as well. So we can go on to our next page.
Yeah, as Casey mentioned, 3D printing, drone technology, all of these things are applied in the mining industry. And during the beginning exercise with the Mentimeter, when I asked what comes to mind when you hear the word minerals industry, nobody mentioned these things, but we saw a lot of like emeralds or diamonds or things that we find from the ground, sustainability. So I hope that this is already starting to open your eyes a little bit and your minds to just how vast the minerals industry is and how widely different topics can really apply to it. With that being said, there are many jobs within the fields of STEM that can be used in the minerals industry, and we're going to go over a few of them in just a moment. Casey mentioned that when you first hear the word minerals or mining, you may not think of STEM. You might just think of somebody getting really dirty and like going underground, digging, performing like very really physical labor. And yes, there are jobs that do require people to take on those roles and to get a little bit dirty, but there are a lot of different types of careers and tasks within the minerals industry as well. So we're going to go over a few of those. Casey's going to talk about some of the ones in science.
Thanks, Sarah. So yeah, in science, just to kind of broaden on that a little bit, I already mentioned how earth science is kind of an all-encompassing science. So that would include, of course, our biology, chemistry, our physics, as well as botany. So that would be the science of plants, even is very important there. ecology as well. You'll notice here on our careers that we list scientists and our technicians. So these are both university and college programs, which Sarah will discuss briefly in the coming sections. Water is also a very important part of the minerals industry. So you can see here in the image, we have the first woman there who's taking a sample. So careers in that area would include things like hydrogeology or hydrologists. Soil, also very important, similar sort of things. So soil testing, you'd have a soil scientist, and prospectors. So prospectors are those who are really working in the exploration field that Sarah explained already, where you're looking and searching for those minerals.
In technology, you can operate a drone, which is pretty cool these days. I think a lot of people have drones at home even. You can be a coder, you can program a machine that might extract minerals. A lot of mining companies today are really coming far with the technological advances that are available to them. And they're using machinery and other technologies to help them extract valuable minerals in a more efficient manner. So that's technology has become a huge part of the mineral industry as well. You can also be an electronic service technician, a geological technician, or work with GIS. So these are just a few of the jobs out there. Computer programmer is also something that's applicable to a lot of different fields. So it's kind of cool to see that in this list within the minerals industry careers as well.
Okay, so then we have engineering as well. So for myself personally, when I hear engineering, my mind often goes to oil and gas. But there are a number of different disciplines, as I've already mentioned, associated with engineering. Chemical engineering, civil engineering, those are some that you may not think of so much as geological engineering or mining engineer, for example. We have some others listed here as well. And the interesting thing with these engineering paths is that actually it would broaden your horizons to kind of explore other careers within the industry. Things such as geotechnician, for example, would qualify you as well.
And finally, in math, these are just a few of the positions out there that you can apply to the minerals industry. An accountant is probably one of the less obvious ones. You don't really think about working for a mining company as an accountant. But just like any other for-profit business, mining companies are also, their goal is to also make some money, and you need somebody who has the skills to manage all of that money, whether it's the revenue that comes in or the expenses, because it costs a lot of money to operate a mine, from paying the employees to like buying permits and things like that. So you need somebody who knows what they're doing and can track that side of the business. Okay, so having said that, we went over a few of highlighted some of the careers in the minerals industry, but how do you get there? How do you get from being a high school student to being an accountant or a geologist? So we're going to go over some STEM co-op programs in Canada, and what that means is we're going to highlight a few of the programs, not all of them because there are too many. Programs within the fields of science, technology, engineering, and math that you could consider when you're applying to universities, if that's what you choose to do. So first of all, what is a co-op program? For those of you who don't know, a co-op program lets you get work experience while you're earning your university degree. So for example, you might be in school for 4 months, or from May to August 2022. Sorry, maybe you're working, you have a work term where you would be like working for a company that's related to your field of study. And then for the next 4 months, you would be in school at university, taking courses and following your academic schedule. For another 4 months, you'd be working again at a different company, gaining more work experience. And then that cycle kind of continues until you earn all your credits and you're able to graduate. So the thing about co-op programs is you tend to graduate a little bit later than if you were enrolled in not in a co-op program, since you've got work terms in between. So it just takes a little bit longer to earn your credits, but that's okay. But you get real world experience. You get to, get acquainted with the work field, which is really valuable experience as well. Also, if you have any questions at any point, Emily, you can let me know if there are any questions. So if you're interested in or in thinking about going into a co-op program, I'm going to highlight some university and college programs in Canada. Just in the interest of time, we're just going to focus on programs in this country, although those are not the only options. So in university or for university programs, here are a few that are highlighted from the West Coast to the East Coast, all over the country. So you've got BC, University of Alberta, Saskatchewan, you can read through. And if there is an opportunity for me to share this presentation, maybe I can go ahead and do that, or send us a message at our booth and let me know if you want this presentation or this particular slide, because they're all hyperlinked. But we don't really have time to go through each of the pages right now. So if you are interested in having this as a resource to look at in the future, please feel free to stop by our booth and just message me and say, hey, I went to your webinar, can I get that PowerPoint? And I'm happy to share this with you. In Ontario, we've got the University of Waterloo has a really reputable co-op program as well. And we've had quite a few Waterloo students come through Mining Matters for their work terms. We've got McGill, Dalhousie, which is in Halifax, PEI, and Memorial University of Newfoundland, which is where Casey went. For college programs, these are just a few that are highlighted in the East Coast. There are a couple in Ontario. These are not nearly all of the ones that are available to you, but just to show you a little bit of what's out there. This website here, Ontario College's website, actually lists like all the co-op programs in Ontario at all the different colleges. So if you were to click on that and check out that website, you can actually see like all of the different co-op programs listed throughout the province, which is cool. So if you choose to enroll in a STEM co-op program, or a co-op program at university, during your work terms, you would be eligible to apply to a Mining Matters co-op job. And I'm just going to go over some of the experiences or things that you might be able to gain from working at Mining Matters. So when you work at Mining Matters, what we do is we're a charitable organization and we teach kids, we teach youth, so people your age, about rocks, minerals, metals, mining, and careers in the minerals industry. So we have tons of hands-on activities related to like engineering, water. We talked about how water is used in mining, sustainability, and you can see in these pictures, kids are like looking at rocks and examining them, or having discussions. And so this is, the bulk of what we do at Mining Matters. So it's just a group of people who are really interested in this topic and they just want to share their knowledge with other youth and get them excited about rocks and minerals as well. We also travel a lot to remote communities around Canada. So during our four-month co-op term, you would have opportunities to travel as well. It's really cool. This is a picture that was taken in Yellowknife actually during a field trip. And sometimes we partner with other mining companies and they bring on their experts to help share some of their knowledge and their experiences in the field as well. This is a picture that was taken in Nova Scotia, and this is one of the remote communities that we go to sometimes. We also work in Indigenous communities and we learn about their worldviews. This is particularly important, not just in the mining industry, but in a lot of relationships and jobs today. And basically within mining, it's really important for mining companies to work with Indigenous communities when planning out how they're going to go about setting up the mine and where they're going to actually put the mine, because with a lot of the times their mines might actually interrupt the community or go through the community, and we want to make sure that we're doing that in a respectful manner, or the companies want to make sure that they're going about it in a respectful manner. So we'll work a lot with them just to educate them about what the minerals industry is and how it works. And yeah, we've built a lot of good relationships with a lot of them. We also get to exhibit at a lot of gem and mineral shows across the country. So this is really fun, where we kind of just set up a booth right now. So you would have seen us at the Canada-wide Science Fair when it was in person, and you would just walk around to our booth, and we would do some hands-on activities with the participants there right at our booth. You can also develop your networking skills, whether it's attending like a company event, or next month we have the PDAC convention, which is happening, which is the world's largest mineral exploration convention. And so we have a booth there. This is a picture of our booth from a couple of years ago. And you would have an opportunity to just meet some other professionals as well in the industry and have discussions with them, and yeah, learn how to network. You can also apply your knowledge in STEM. So this is us testing out some of our activities. This is the metals activity here. This is our conveyor belt activity, where we take household materials and literally build a conveyor belt. So that's pretty cool. And then we use a drill to actually make it move. And you can find these on our website too, under resources, if you're interested in seeing what kind of activities we have. And I just wanted to share one video with you that has some testimonies from past co-op students that talk about their experiences at Mining Matters.
Over the next 10 years, more than 70,000 jobs.
And we start. Make sure that my sound is still shared.
Over the next 10 years, more than 70,000 jobs in the Canadian mining industry will need to be filled. Who will fill these positions? Will it be a child who loves to collect rocks? A high school kid exploring his options? A university student who wants a hands-on career? Mining Matters teaches youth about rocks, minerals, metals, mining, and how minerals relate to our everyday lives. When youth participate in a Mining Matters program, they are one step closer to working in the mining industry. Help us build mineral literacy for the next generation.
All right, so that was our promo video. And that's about it. I just want to share one additional resource with you, which is miningneedsyou.ca. If you were to go to that website, there's actually an interactive activity where you can kind of see all the different mining jobs or careers in mining that are available, and see kind of what fits you based on your interests. So with that being said, are there any questions?
Yes, we actually have a few questions coming in. We have 4 here, so we might go a little bit over time, but that is
okay.
So our first question is, where are most mineral mines in Canada located?
Oh, that's a really good question. I'm going to defer to Casey. Casey's actually worked in the industry, so she has some expert knowledge.
Thanks, Sarah. Yeah, so that is a really excellent question. It would probably depend on the type of minerals you're looking for, and by that I mean metals versus non-metals. And each kind of area within Canada has their own research or their own resources. So for example, here in Newfoundland, we have a lot of gold. That's the area. I've worked in gold exploration. If you were to go further north in Canada to somewhere like the Northwest Territories, as Sarah showed a picture, you're going to find a lot of diamonds there. Areas such as Saskatchewan, you're going to find a lot of potash. So it's not so much that one area has a more concentrated amount. It really depends on the minerals that you're looking for.
Solid. I think that answers it. The next question here from Scott says, is there a need for mineral reclamation in the future due to declining reserves? So do we need to source our minerals, resource them because they are getting taken out of mines?
Sorry, I'm just trying to understand the question. Do we need to source the minerals like externally?
Like resourcing them, like the when you throw out your iPhone, like taking the gold from that and using it again. I think that's what it means.
Okay, I got you. Yeah, so that is definitely something that we're looking at. Canada's released their list of critical minerals. I believe it was released earlier this year. And one way that we can source those is, like you said, Emily, is recycling our electronics to extract some of those materials. I wouldn't necessarily say that that we're at a place where that would replace the mining and minerals industry. If anything, I would say that's part of it.
Awesome, sounds good. The next question here is, what steps are you taking to make mining more sustainable?
Sarah, is there anything you want to add? Sorry, I just keep jumping in here.
No, you're doing a great job.
Okay. Okay, what steps are we taking to make mining more sustainable? So for us, Mining Matters, being that we are a charitable organization focused on education, a lot of our activities do focus on sustainability. So things such as your 4 Rs, recycling, reusing. We do discuss, just as you mentioned in the previous question, reusing and extracting some of those materials from electronics. As well as working with companies and kind of learning about their methods of kind of striving for sustainability.
Yeah, just to go off of that, we ourselves, Mining Matters, we don't have anything in place to make mining more sustainable because we're a charitable organization. And so our job is to educate others just more about how mining and minerals are related to everyday life. And we do student workshops, we do public outreach events, and we just share our knowledge, but we're not actually involved in the minerals industry directly.
Awesome, that's great. And then the last question that I see here says, do you do the Jamboree in the Bancroft area? And that's from Scott Berry, who's from the Quint Regional Science and Technology Fair, which I believe is in Ontario.
Yes, we definitely do go there. I can't remember the last time we were there. I think it was the last time it was in person. We definitely had a booth there, so we'll probably be there again. Well, thank you everyone so much for joining and for staying with us until the end. We really appreciate your time.